Okay. So, first of all, are you on track compared to your schedule? Let's load your schedule up. That's not the schedule. There we go. Okay.
I'm a bit behind on my schedule, but the thing was, when I created my schedule, I specifically made it like there is no real set dates for certain things.
Within the week, you've got things addressed, so
Yeah.
pre-production, yeah, okay.
That's what the plan was, because I knew like sometimes I might drop the ball and I might have to move on to doing something in the next week or of like pre-production or just before filming.
But according to your schedule, 15th of May, so this week, buying ingredients, clean barbecue, layout and prep food, and then finally cook and film. So
Yeah.
this week, you're going into production,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So we need to check that your pre-production's done, okay?
Yes.
In terms of buying ingredients, cleaning the barbecue, layout and prepping the food, where are we up to with that?
I bought some of the ingredients from the butcher, or the ingredients I need from the butcher, and the rest of the stuff like buns and etc. I'm going up today buying.
Okay, so keep receipts for everything you've bought so
Yeah.
that can go into your pre-production.
Yeah, I've got. I wasn't able to get receipts for the stuff, but for the meat, but I took photos of like the little sticker they put on and everything.
The product you've got, good. And I think it'll be a good idea to have either pictures or footage of you prepping the food, because the show, I'm assuming, is only going to capture you cooking the food live, or we're actually going to see the prep?
Generally, all I would really need to prep is just the pork joint and some of the chicken. That's all the things I really need to prep. Everything else is fine.
Okay.
Like I'm going to show molding the minced meat into burgers and etc. It's just other things like the pork and the chicken I'll prep, and I wouldn't show that.
No, but maybe some pictures for your production folder. Okay. What from your research, what have you learnt from your research that's being used in your planning of the production?
Definitely some of the email I received back from the chef, because it's opened my eyes a bit more to a whole new audience.
Yep.
And also how there is a justification on me using old themed like out of decade music, even though like the response I got back from the survey, it showed that there was more of an interest in decade music, but because out of decade music was such a close second, and I found that source of information saying that below like 40, there's 33% below 43-year-olds who listen to it. I was just like, well, that's me justifying that yes, there is a market for so on and so forth. Also learned a bit more about what's determined as hate speech, and as my friends I know have a bit of a crude humour, I'm going to keep a watchful eye on it and tell them like you can't make certain jokes about something. Like yes, maybe a bit of a risky topic, but if it's a risky topic, try and just not do any of the or like any really just.
Are you talking about when you're interviewing them in your show?
Yeah, interviewing them in my show and when I'm cooking, because they're going to be filmed as well. They're going to like the conversations they're having, etc. Because they're going to be conversing with me as well.
Yep. So talk to me about that, because I remember when I was first introduced to the project, one of my concerns was that we was going to end up with a product which was basically you filming a barbecue with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
So we spoke about the elements you was going to utilise to make sure that it was more creative. So the fact that we can have the graphic screens. And we spoke about maybe having conversation topics so we can sway away from those.
Oh yeah, like definitely. Like I've spoken to my friends as like there's the election coming up soon. It's something we've been talking about recently, so we could possibly talk about that as well, because like some of us have different opinions.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're cooking, you will then, or not when you're cooking, you will then film your friends interacting, eating the food. Who's going to film you serving the food up?
My brother's going to be filming.
Okay.
He's not going to be in the
production.
He's just going to be filming and doing the sound and etc. Because he's the camera, he's okay to do it. The plan is when I'm cooking, I'm going to be talking to the camera, talking to the viewers that are watching on YouTube. And yes, like there is I would say to my friends just before, like, yes, you can interrupt me and possibly go off on a little tangent or something, but don't do it often and don't make it long because I want to keep to the script as much as possible. Then we can go off and that type of stuff.
You just need to make sure that you are. I know you're hosting, but that you're also remembering that you're the director and make sure that people are on point and so on. Okay, with that in mind, is there going to be a loose script? Because
yes, there is going to be a loose script. Loose script is going to focus around on the cooking of the ingredients and making the ingredients.
Because what I'd like to see is that you've got a clear idea, obviously before you move into filming, of the structure of your show. So we still need a shot list because you still need to know what needs to be filmed. So in terms of when you're cooking, what type of camera angles we're having. Also, when you're interviewing, is there going to be, or when they're conversing, is there going to be actual structured interview questions, or it's just going to be conversing footage or this topical conversations you spoke about? Also, are we going to see prep? Are we going to see the menu? Are we going to see the method?
Like you're going to... there is a menu because on my little animation storyboard at the beginning of the show, it's going to be like cooking with Corey and friends on today's menu, da-da-da-da-da.
Perfect. Okay.
And then with when I'm preparing or starting to prepare each food, there's going to be a list of the ingredients, and then at the end, there's going to be another graphic with the ingredients.
Good. Talking of graphics then, talk me through these little fellas.
These little fellas are going to be involved with certain or the specific foods like that.
This is the portobello mushroom.
Yes, he's going to be involved along with that, and I have an idea in my head that I'm going to aim around possibly him being a bit distraught and upset that I'm cooking a mushroom.
Okay.
And that he's going to try and save the mushroom somehow, and he burns his little hands.
So, help me visualise this. Let's say, for example, we've gone from conversing with friends to cut to, right, now let's cook the next dish. As you're maybe making your way back to the barbecue, for example, would we then have this animated screen of this mushroom going, no?
No,
is that what you mean, or?
The mushroom, like, all the characters are going to be silent. Right. I'm just really going to try and focus on how their emotive language, and I'm going to time it with music, etc., kind of like old cartoons and stuff. So, like, there's going to be a lot of physical comedy in a way, but not with hits or anything. It's just going to be physical with the singular character. Like, they're going to be running or trying to climb something or anything.
So he would appear as you're about to cook the mushroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd have the visuals in the background and animated at the same time.
One thing I might do, now thinking about it, in the beginning, when I had the Cooking with Corey and Friends, today's menu, or like Cooking with Corey and Friends, I'll make the animations pop up.
Yep.
And
like from the bottom.
Yeah.
Love it. I think that's a really, really good idea. And obviously, we won't go through all of them, but we've got the pig. Is this a pig?
Yeah, he's kind of like distraught and depressed that I'm kind of like...
Squeaky Pig, is that what the menu was called? Something like that?
I think it was like, I can't remember it, and Meat is Murder. He's just supposed to be a depressed cow.
Yeah, okay. These are really good.
That's tofu, because I'm cooking tofu.
Why are you cooking tofu?
Because of the vegetarian option.
Good.
And also, speaking of the tofu, because there's an extra dish added, I'm going to be consuming the tofu, because some of my friends are vegetarian. I'm like, yes, I was vegetarian for a while, and I think maybe go back to it, because I've never tried vegetarian barbecue.
So again, in your scripting, that'll be a segment where we don't then cut to Corey and Friends. It will just be you at the barbecue going, oh, we'll just have a little nibble of this while we're... That type of thing. Yeah? Okay, that's good. Pre-production paperwork, risk assessments are all looking good. What I wanted to talk to you about was... Not this one. Your location recce. Now...
Mm-hmm.
This is the house, this is the map, but this isn't where you are filming.
Okay.
So I need to actually have a recce of the place you are filming, which I assume is your garden.
Yeah, I can just go home and take a picture of that. I was like kind of figuring out for a while, how am I going to get a picture of my phone, and then I realised just now I can email it to myself.
Yeah. So please, can we have images here of your garden? Did you ever consider another location, or was it always going to be your garden?
It was always going to be my garden.
Right,
there was no real consideration for other ones, because the reason I specifically chose my garden is because I have a smokestack barbecue.
Yeah.
And generally I use it quite a lot because it's like really good for cooking, etc. Because it keeps all the heat in.
Okay, so you chose your house for locality, for resources. Okay, why else?
ease really, because we're so close to the college. It's a 15-minute walk and collect the equipment and go back.
Yeah.
And everyone nearby me, all the guests that are coming live nearby me.
So familiarity, they may feel more comfortable
Yeah.
because they've been there before. In terms of a filming location, then, other than the fact that familiarity, locality, resources, why is that good in terms of spacing? Why is it good for a filming location?
In terms of spacing, because I've got a large open garden. It will allow equipment to move around easily. No one will trip up, etc.
Is it secluded? Will we see the neighbours' heads
No,
popping over the fence?
No. You won't see the neighbour's head popping over the fence because my garden's like from where my house is, house here, and there's a little patio, and you go down to the garden, and there's big hedges surrounding it.
So I'd like to see that great justification
Yeah.
in your because you've just given me a handful of reasons to why that's a suitable location.
Okay.
But looking at this, that doesn't justify that. Okay, so I think there could be a bit of work on your location recce. Okay. Okay, so in terms of pre-production, you've got all of the legal side of things done. You've got your rough character design. You've got your location recce, which you're going to improve. Script.
Script is going to be started today. But first of all, I'm going to do a list of the food, an updated list of the food, and then from there I'm going to move on to the script, and then from the script I'm going to move on to the shot list.
Okay, I would like to see some test footage of you cooking at the barbecue, for example.
I could do that today. I'll probably pick up like a little throwaway barbecue and have something.
Can't you cook on the barbecue that you've got at home?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but because like I would have to use coals, a lot of coals. I don't want to waste.
The only reason I'm saying this is because until you do that, we don't know which way the wind direction's going. Is the smoke going to be in view of the camera?
Right.
These types of things.
The thing is with the smokestack is like all the smoke will be going up the chimney, so it won't be in camera.
Okay, that's my lack of knowledge of the barbecue smokestack. Okay, but still we need some test footage to show that you've actually considered angles and that sort of thing. Okay. So other than a script, shot list can be, you could either do a separate shot list or include it within your script. I'm talking more about obviously the presentation of the food and the way that's going to be visually presented. So I do think you need to think about your angles and your shot types for that.
I do have some angles in mind for the presentation of the food and the way I'm going to be filming, me preparing everything. Like it's going to be going off of a single camera mechanic, and it's mostly going to be freehand. And like at some points, yes, it's going to be still, but that's it really.
Okay. And then you were going to go and obviously they're going to have this conversing, but are you going to go and ask direct questions to people as well about what they thought about the food and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, like once they've consumed the food, I'll.
So maybe again you can have some questions in your script to make sure that you're getting the type of answer that you want because you want it to be entertaining as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you are on schedule. You are ready to film later in the week. Yeah. So we need to get pre-production finished. We need to get the test shots done. Start filming. What are you going to do as contingency if you don't have enough footage or if there's an issue with the filming that you capture?
As for contingency, I haven't really thought about. I think I did mention somehow that about the camera malfunctioning in my pitch. I can't exactly remember, but yeah, if the camera malfunctions again, if I'm close to college. I can make my way to college just to get another camera in place. So that's why I put on my pitch.
I'd like to see a detailed contingency plan in your pre-production paperwork. When I say detailed contingency plan, a list of everything that could go wrong. Weather is a huge one for you.
Yeah.
Guests not turning up. Okay. Food being burnt.
Yeah.
There's loads of things that could go wrong, and I want to see that you're in control of this project and you have an answer for everything that could possibly go wrong.
Okay.
Okay. So before you are going to be released into production, detailed contingency, script, shot list, updated location recce. Talent release forms will be signed on the day of filming. Okay. Test shots we discussed. And then I appreciate that as we move, once you've done your filming day, we'll then have a lot more pre-production in reference to the editing and screenshots to support the editing animation, the editing of the animation, the music, and so on. Yeah? But you are in control, I think. We've got 4 weeks left, and you're nearly ready to move into filming. We just need to make sure this pre-production folder is a bit more detailed and more fuller.
Yep.
The detail contingency is really important.
Okay.
All right? You've been keeping up to date with your diaries.
Yeah.
Apart from
15th.
That was yesterday, so
Yeah.
you're just going to do the bit when you came in on your day off, yeah? Just make sure that your diaries don't start to slip in detail, okay? So what I mean is make sure that even, because you in your earlier stage in your diaries were using it as a place to talk about your research as well. But here, remember, if there's research that you have used, the outcomes that you just discussed with me, such as the selection of tofu or whatever it might be, make sure you're putting that in your diary. Yeah, so you're continually referencing to the research that you've used and how it's influencing your idea.
Okay.
All right? And then as we've discussed this morning, production photos, yeah, and the recorded diaries if you want to about how things are going, or make sure that your diary isn't just a description of today we filmed, it went really well. What went well? What problems did you overcome? How did you overcome them? What do you need to do next? And so on.
Yeah.
All right? Have you got any questions or worries?
Just as for contingency plan, when you mentioned about possibly food being burnt or etc., like the aim of the show is to be an experiment. So like if food is burnt, it's just gonna have to go out. Like they're gonna have to taste it, and like yeah, it might be horrible, but the fact that they're tasting it and like they're telling me it's horrible add more comedy.
So you're bringing in for the comedy element.
Yeah, I'm not purposely gonna burn the food, but if it happens.
All I'd say is that if we had a whole show of burnt food, does that make it a barbecue show? Okay, so you do need to think about conventions. Jamie Oliver wouldn't serve up burnt food.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate what you're saying in terms of the comical element, but a whole show of burnt food.
Yeah, I understand. But as of often or not, when I host barbecue, I'm the one that's cooking, and everyone enjoys the food. There's no burnt stuff.
So let's make sure that we have that detailed contingency, just so we know if rain, for example, people not showing up. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay, good.